When Beetles explode, the clans follow me. Peace. It's Clash of the Pencils Live.
Turn on the stream tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The story central time. Breaking down the plot. Characters that fought. Twist and hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the door right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Breaking down the plot.
All right, that was the title segment. I am Tom Sherman. That is Greg the Reader Peterson, and this is Led the Kid in the control room. I don't know. Here we are. We're at Clash of the Pencils. Here's what happens every day. We get stories submitted from authors throughout the internet. Our algorithm selects the top 3, which we then analyze, put up to the public for a vote, and then they tell us who the winner is. We reveal that at the end of the live stream, and then the next prompt, do it all over again. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. Greg, what is today's prompt that our authors submitted for?
It's we've got write a story with these 5 words or phrases. You ready for them? We've got peace, exploded, follow me, clans, and Beetles. And if my calculations are correct here, I think we have some insect wars in the making.
Interesting area for our authors to explore. And who knows? It might just be a battle of the bands that occurs.
Battle of the bands, battle of the clans, clash of the pencils.
Wow, look at that! No need for any more fluff. Here we go. Let's get right into it. This is story number 1. It's called Artemite's Foul. It's by Insects Rule.
Once upon a time, there was a beetle clan named the Artemites. The Artemites lived in a big tree in a jungle. Now, there was a rival clan named the Cadites. The Cadites lived in the tree next to it. Since they lived in the same area, they fought often for the land. They would send armies and everything. In both of these respected clans, there 2 young beetles named Michael and Jean. They had been taught to fight the other, but secretly sought peace. They both were very skilled fighters and were in the army. One day the 2 came across each other during an encounter. "You fight well," Jean said. "You as well," replied Michael. These boys deliberately tried as hard as they could to avoid killing off the enemy. As the encounter ended and they were leaving, they had some parting words. "You're like me. You seek peace, don't you?" said Michael. "I do," replied Jean. "Follow me. I know a pathway where we can talk more." When the Beetles headed down the path and into the hole, nobody saw them. "So, what is your name?" asked Michael. "Jean." "And you?" replied Jean. "Michael," responded Michael. "Look, I know this sounds crazy, but we must find peace," said Michael. "Are you insane? We cannot overthrow the clans. We must. Are you really ready to give up your dream?" "Fine," said Jean. "We'll give it a try." Over the course of a month, they met in the same place every day, but one day, when their plan was ready, they waited for the next encounter. Their plan was to spread a scent that puts everyone in the area to sleep. They released the scent they had been working on for months, and boom! The gas exploded. When all the Beetles woke up, the boys went up to explain their idea. The commanders from their respective clans agreed. Peace was made. The boys were speechless. They saved their clans. The clans never fought again, and the Beetles went on to be lifetime friends.
This is basically just nonfiction. As we all know, the Beetle Wars between the Artemites and the Cadites, that spanned for thousands of years. And this kind of describes how that ended. So basically, their two best fighters, Michael and Jean, they come across each other in battle, fight each other to a draw, show each other mutual respect, and then decide or somehow sort of understand that neither are really in it for the bloodlust. They're really looking for peace. So they abscond to a secret location for the next month, planning the overthrow of both colonies through biological warfare, which they succeed in doing. Put everyone to sleep with the sleeping gas, and then when they wake up, amnesia is peace's best friend, as I believe that was Tolstoy said.
You know, when we listed the words, I had some vague sort of silhouette of a story. This was so much better in terms of those words and delivering on it. This was incredible. I love the character development and going in through Michael and Jean, the two. There's this little like testing the waters. Hey, do you want peace? I know we're not supposed to say that. And then they both kind of go down this pathway to the secret location in which they can make their plan. The plot has a really elegant beginning with that interaction of the mutual respect, to the middle and when they put the plan all together, and then exploding this gas that puts everyone to sleep. The one thing I found a little lacking here, Tom, was what do they say to both leaders? If it was so taboo, like, what are you, insane? We can't overthrow the clans. And then sort of like the yada, yada, yada past what they said to overthrow the clans.
Yeah, maybe it was just kind of like, look, we're going to keep doing this until like, we've already knocked you all out once. We're going to keep doing it until you make peace. I don't know. Like, yeah, that would have been a nice scene to have. I thought it was sort of kind of a great classic take on a Romeo and Juliet or a Pyramus and Thisbe type story of like the classical star-crossed enemies that aren't supposed to be friends, aren't supposed to, communicate or have anything in common with anybody else, and then all of a sudden you realize, hey, we're exactly alike, and our interests are more aligned than some of our clan leaders would want us to believe.
So were the clan leaders right in insisting that they be mortal enemies? Because if this did happen, it led to the overthrow of the existing governmental structure.
Exactly. Well, and that's why if I was one of the clan leaders, that would be exactly why I would be telling these Beetles to kill each other and not focus on trying to overthrow me. Because obviously these are two talented Beetles.
Right. They should be the ones making the call for their colonies.
Potentially. I don't know. I mean, that's what's great about the sequel. The sequel is going to be really when we see one Beetle the power might corrupt, Jean, and Michael might have to, think about the great triumvirates in history. I mean, the co-council, that's tough having a dual party, not a dual party, but like a dual leadership position of two executives. You gotta, you know what I mean? Like, anyways.
You gotta fight to the death. Only one can really leave.
That's right. Right. It's kind of like Clash of the Pencils hosting, where I feel like we're in an extended audition period between you and I, and one of these days
the robots will come and determine. Yeah,
the robots will just get it. All right, on to brighter and lighter subjects. How about the Golden and Shadow Beetle War? That sounds interesting. This is by Do the Dew.
Long ago, there were two clans of beetles that lived in a huge garden. The golden beetles were super shiny, and they wanted peace, but the shadow beetles liked to hide under leaves and make trouble. One day, a golden beetle called Flash was walking around, and he saw that the shadow beetles stole all the morning dewdrops. All the beetles needed dewdrops to live. "Follow me," yelled Flash to his friends, and they went to get the dew back. When they got to the Shadow Beetle's hideout, a firefly crashed right into the dew storage, and boom, it all exploded. There was sparkly dew everywhere, and all the beetles just stood there looking at it. Then a tiny shadow beetle named Dot said, "Why are we even fighting about dewdrops? There's plenty for everyone." And the other beetles were like, "Oh yeah, that's true." So Flash and Dot helped to make special spots where both clans could get dew together. All the beetles became friends and worked together.
All right, so here we have the golden beetles and the shadow beetles, where one's peaceful, the other's a bunch of troublemakers, and then the troublemakers, believe it or not, make a bunch of trouble and steal all the dew. And some of the golden beetles track the dew heist to the dew storage facility, and I'm not quite sure what happens. Is this a kamikaze sort of Firefly drone that they crash into it, or that just kind of happened? Anyways, something, an explosion happens, dew's everywhere, and then a shadow beetle says, "Hey guys, let's he floats off his soft balloon for trial balloon for communism," and everyone's like, "Yeah, communism is pretty cool. Let's do it." And so they did communism, and peace came over the garden.
Was that a let's DEW it for communism? Because it felt like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I was definitely getting some vibes of like, all right, this seems like central planning. It's all about the allocation of these dewdrops, right? And it seems like there's
Yeah.
enough for everyone. But then why would all these shadow beetles be just hoarding all the dewdrops? I definitely want to know more about this industrial supply chain and how do they store these things. The
Yep.
bit about the lightning bug that just happens and exploded this, that for me, why did that lead to the fact that there's plenty for everyone?
Right.
I was a little
Yeah.
unclear about that plot device because that feels like the climax was the
I
explosion. And then there's a
Mhm.
sudden insight between the two tribes or the two clans. But
Yeah.
that insight has also kind of been abstracted or left unsaid. Similar
I
last story.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I definitely feel like there's going to be some sort of Firefly truther movement throughout the Shadow Beetle and Golden Beetle society, just because it's this huge plot point that under scrutiny, no one knows what's going on anymore. So yeah, that's interesting. Here's my question: is why did the Golden Beetle so one Shadow Beetle says, "Hey, why are we hoarding and fighting over these dewdrops?" Right, and then the golden beetles just agree to it. Why did they agree to it? Like, they weren't, the shadow beetles stole all their dewdrops. You know what I mean? The golden beetles weren't out stealing dewdrops back. They've the golden beetles are just pushovers.
Yeah, they were. They really caved. You want to know what I was thinking when I heard about this dewdrop situation?
What's
I was,
that?
I was thinking about OpenAI and Anthropic and whatever Google's
Mhm.
thing are with this. It's like there's enough dewdrops here with this AGI for everybody, but we're gonna hoard it all behind our things. It seemed like a similar situation. I'm wondering if this is some sort of prophecy from the future, trying to warn us.
Wow. Interesting. Most prophecies are coded in metaphor. So that is definitely potential. If I was Nostradamus, I would probably talk about AI in a similar fashion.
Yeah,
Via
there's plenty of
dewdrop
dewdrops
metaphor.
for everyone, right, Tom? Like,
I've always had my fill of dewdrops, but I hate it when my dewdrop credits run out. I will tell you that. You gotta wait
same.
till the next morning.
Well,
Okay. On to the next one. No reason to perfect perfection. All right, story number 3.
we welcome our
Uh,
robot overlords.
oh, totally. Definitely. Every time. Every time. Any overlord, honestly, human, dragon, alien, any overlord, I'm happy to grovel to. So, story number 3. Let's see if this is going to be a potential overlord. Magical Musical Clan by Ringo95.
Long ago in Liverpool, there was a clan of musicians called the Beetles. While George's guitar gently wept sad tunes, everyone soon would know their names: Paul, John, George and Ringo. One day, John was playing his guitar when Paul walked by, singing near Strawberry Fields, where they played forever and ever. "Follow me," said John. "I think we could make some vertical bar good tunes together." Then George came along with his own guitar, and Ringo had some vertical bar drums, and suddenly the music just exploded into something magical. They played in a place called the Cavern Club, where lots of people came to dance. The Beatles got so popular that girls would scream and cry like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Even the Queen of England liked their songs. Then one day John said, "All we are saying is give peace a chance," and wrote a song about it. The whole world was listening to the Beatles now, even in America. Everything was going swimmingly until one day John met Yoko, who said, "Follow me," and that was that.
Okay. Yeah, here's actually a pretty standard piece of nonfiction. It seems like just describing the Beatles, a band from the 1960s. That's basically about it. It's not worth going blow by blow through it. I don't believe.
This was it. This was an insect war, though. I it's a little bit different, but man, we've got the group coming together, overtaking the world, just like all three of these, they came together, but then they couldn't, absolute power corrupts absolutely. They couldn't hold on to the good thing when they were at the top. Some sort of selfish ego just ripped the band apart at the height of their powers.
Jeez, tell me how you really feel about Yoko. Yoko. Not that that's who this is. These are probably fictional characters.
This is fiction. This is all complete fantasy.
These are all fiction. I think what I really enjoyed, I think the best part about it is it's written by Ringo 9-5. Ringo being one of the four Beatles, who's kind of forgettable, and he's never even in the he wrote himself out of his own story.
Out. Yeah. Couldn't take the creative license to be the front man on that one. Once a drummer, always a drummer.
It did have a great rhythm, though. Every sentence led to the next sentence, led to the next sentence. So you got to give it that. Yeah, rim shot. All right. Yeah. Any other analysis on that one, or should we?
I thought it was a very clever use of Beatles.
It was honestly, it did check that box. We were looking for that. Who was going to do it?
Were we ready for a third insect war? No, it was a nice little slice of life.
No. It's true. It's true. All right. And with that, here is a slice of variety from one of our various commercial sponsors. We'll be right back. We're back from break. I mean, honestly, I'm always stunned by the scent of Tony Baloney Cologne by Stallone, Tony Baloney. How about you?
It's overpowering. What other scent could you want?
That's about it. All right. So, winner, drum roll, please. Insect rules. Taking it in. As you'll recall, that's the first story of the day, Greg, with the Artemites and the Cadiites.
Michael and Gene, that exploding gas, they solved all the clan war problems. Incredible.
They did. That was great. A great romp. Great use of all of it. All 5 words.
And phrases. And phrases.
And phrases. I mean, I was going to say something about, I don't know. It doesn't matter. If we already did the analysis, if you want my analysis, go back and rewatch it. All right. We're going to top 5. If I can find the top 5 sentences of the day, here they are. Number 5. Long ago in Liverpool, there was a clan of musicians called the Beetles. Number 4. You're like me. You seek peace, don't you? Said Michael. I do, replied Jean. Follow me. I know a pathway where we can talk more. Number 3. Then a tiny shadow beetle named Dot said, why are we even fighting about dewdrops? There's plenty for everyone. And the other beetles were like, oh, yeah, that's true. Number 2. When they got to the shadow beetle's hideout, a firefly crashed right into the dew storage and boom, it all exploded. Oh. And the top sentence of the night, everything was going swimmingly until one day, John met Yoko, who said, hey, and that was that.
Man, that was the end of the best band ever. Right there.
Did I capture the spirit of that last sentence? I hope
I
did.
I think so. Well, vitriol.
All right. Let's see. Oh, wait. Did I say the winner was Insect Rules? That is wrong. The Golden Shadow and the Beetle War. Do the do. That's who the winner says in my notes down here. So I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that.
We'll go to committee. See who won.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There's been an appeal. All right. What is our prompt for Friday?
All right, Tom, get excited for Friday, January 17th. It's Historical Fiction Friday. You got to set your story sometime before the year 1960. So you got the 1950s, 1940s, World War I. I don't know, pre-civilization, the whole thing. But it's kind of that before 1960, before internet, before robots, before this technological singularity that's about to overtake us all.
Wow. I mean, that's like, maybe Sputnik has been launched, but other than
maybe.
Wow. Okay. Very good. If you could go time travel to any time and place, where would it be, Greg?
Ooh. Roman Emperor, the Greeks, Ming Dynasty. I think I'd go and, I don't know, the pirate's life feels like a good life, right?
Right. Okay.
What about you?
1700s Caribbean. That's pretty.
Give me some of that Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
Okay. I think I would go to. That's a good question. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be asked back to me. I would probably go to Atlantis. I would probably go to Atlantis. Back when that was around. That would be good, right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty good. Got to see that before it gets swallowed into the ocean. So, all right. With that, bearing that in mind, have fun, authors. We will see you on Friday to analyze the top 3 stories that get submitted. If you want to do so, download the Clash of the Pencils app. It is in the iOS store. It is available for your Android phones, wherever you download apps, maybe. And until then, keep those pencils sharp.
Kids, don't let your creativity be captured.
Turn on the stream tonight, short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The Story Central time. Breaking down the plots, characters that fought, twist and hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories in a live stream glory? It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide, mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories in a live stream glory? It's the contest of the year. Writers have no